What if a coin worth just £1 could turn out to be something far more interesting than it first appears? What if the date, design, condition, or one tiny minting mistake could completely change the story behind it? Welcome back to Coin Collection 1, where ordinary-looking coins can lead us into extraordinary stories. Today we are traveling to Egypt and taking a close look at the 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, a modern coin with an ancient story, a famous historical figure on its design, and plenty of questions surrounding its collectible value. Some claims online suggest that certain examples could be worth as much as $1,000, but is every 2008 Egyptian £1 coin really worth that much? Absolutely not. And that is exactly why you need to stay until the end, because we are going to separate the facts from the hype and discover what actually makes one of these coins valuable. And if you love rare coins, world coins, historic currency, and surprising coin discoveries, make sure you subscribe to Coin Collection 1. The coin we are examining is the Egyptian £1 coin dated 2008. It was issued by Egypt and belongs to a modern bimetallic circulating series. The denomination is 1 Egyptian pound, and the coin corresponds to the year 1429 in the Islamic Hijri calendar. For collectors, that dual dating is one of the first interesting details to notice. Egypt uses the Gregorian calendar alongside the Islamic Hijri calendar, so when you examine Egyptian coins, you may see dates that look unfamiliar if you are accustomed only to Western calendar systems. On this particular issue, 2008 corresponds with 1429 Hijri. At first glance, the coin may look like a simple piece of modern currency, but its design connects modern Egypt with one of the most famous figures from the ancient world. The coin features the image of Tutankhamun, the young pharaoh whose name became famous around the world after the discovery of his tomb in 1922. His golden funerary mask is one of the most recognizable symbols of ancient Egypt, and its appearance on modern Egyptian currency creates a fascinating connection between a coin produced in the 21st century and a ruler who lived more than 3,000 years ago. Tutankhamun became pharaoh during Egypt's 18th dynasty. His reign was relatively short, and he died at a young age, but his legacy became enormous because his tomb was discovered with an extraordinary collection of treasures. When Howard Carter discovered the tomb in 1922, the discovery captured worldwide attention and helped transform Tutankhamun into one of the most recognizable names in ancient Egyptian history. The famous golden mask became an international symbol of Egypt itself. So when you hold this modern £1 coin, you are not holding an ancient artifact from Tutankhamun's time, but you are holding a modern representation of one of the most famous archaeological treasures in history. The coin itself is made as a bimetallic piece. Catalog information identifies the standard type as having a brass-plated steel center surrounded by a nickel-plated steel outer ring. It weighs approximately 8.5 grams and measures about 25 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of roughly 2.5 millimeters. The edge is reeded, meaning it contains a series of raised lines around the circumference. These specifications are extremely useful for collectors because weight, diameter, thickness, edge design, and metal composition can help determine whether a coin matches the standard specifications of the issue. The coin's construction also gives collectors another interesting feature to examine. Because steel is used in its composition, the coin can show magnetic attraction. A magnet test can therefore be useful as an initial screening tool, but it should never be treated as complete authentication. Counterfeit coins can sometimes imitate the expected magnetic behavior, and unusual results can have multiple explanations. Serious authentication requires several pieces of evidence rather than a single test. Another important point is the mint mark. The 2008 Egyptian £1 coin does not have the kind of obvious mint letter that collectors may be familiar with from some American or European coins. The absence of a visible mint mark should therefore not automatically be considered an error or a rarity. For this issue, a normal example may simply have no visible mint mark. This is an important lesson in coin collecting. A missing feature is valuable only when that feature was actually supposed to be present. The standard 2008 coin should also not be considered rare simply because it is from 2008. Catalog records list the issue as part of a larger circulating type that appeared over multiple years. That means the date itself does not automatically make the coin scarce. This is where online coin videos and marketplace listings can sometimes become misleading. You may see a seller asking hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a coin, but an asking price is not proof of market value. So let's address the big question. Could this coin really be worth 1,000? For a normal circulated 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, a $1,000 value would be highly unrealistic. Catalog indications for ordinary examples are generally in the low dollar range, depending on condition. Actual auction evidence for ordinary examples has also shown much more modest prices. That means you should not assume that every 2008 Egyptian £1 coin sitting in a drawer is secretly worth $1,000, but this does not mean you should ignore the coin. The real excitement begins when we look for characteristics that separate an ordinary example from an exceptional one. In the world of numismatics, major mint errors can sometimes transform a common coin into a highly desirable collectible. A genuine mint error occurs during the manufacturing process. Coins are produced using planchets, dies, presses, and highly controlled striking operations. If something goes wrong during that process, the result can be an unusual coin. Collectors search for characteristics such as major off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, struck-through errors, unusual metal compositions, doubled design elements, or other confirmed minting abnormalities. However, there is one extremely important rule. Unusual does not automatically mean rare, and damage does not automatically mean an error. For example, a scratch across the surface is normally damage, not a mint error. A coin that has been bent is usually damaged after leaving the mint. A strange color can be caused by environmental exposure or chemical treatment. A polished coin may look shiny, but can actually be less desirable to collectors. Before calling something an error, you need evidence that the unusual characteristic was created during the minting process. This is especially important when a coin is being advertised for a very high price. If someone tells you that an Egyptian £1 coin is worth $1,000 because of an unusual mark, do not immediately believe the claim. Ask why the feature is considered a mint error. Compare it with known examples. Check reputable numismatic references. Look for documented sales. And if the coin appears genuinely exceptional, professional authentication may be worthwhile. Condition is another major factor in determining collectible value. A coin that has circulated for years can develop scratches, dents, contact marks, discoloration, and wear. A coin that was carefully stored shortly after minting can retain much sharper details and cleaner surfaces. Collectors generally prefer coins with strong original detail and attractive surfaces. However, high grade alone does not automatically make a common coin extremely valuable. A common coin in excellent condition may be worth more than a heavily worn example, but rarity and demand still matter. A truly rare error in average condition can sometimes be more desirable than a perfectly preserved example of a common issue. If you have a 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, there are several things you can examine before deciding whether it deserves further investigation. Start with the date and Arabic lettering. Make sure the design matches the correct type. Look at the central image and outer ring carefully. Examine the edge from one side of the coin to the other. Check the weight and diameter. Look for anything that appears genuinely different from a normal example. A standard example should weigh around 8.5 grams and measure about 25 millimeters across. Small differences can occur because of wear and manufacturing tolerances, so do not panic over a tiny variation. But a significant difference may justify further research. The edge is particularly important because it can reveal evidence of damage or alteration. If someone has modified a coin after it left the mint, the edge may provide clues. A genuine mint error should make sense as part of the manufacturing process. If the supposed error can only be explained by cutting, grinding, bending, plating, or chemical treatment, it is probably not the kind of mint error collectors are looking for. And whatever you do, do not clean the coin. This is one of the most common mistakes beginners make. They find an old or dirty coin, polish it until it shines, and assume they have increased its value. In reality, cleaning can permanently damage the original surface and reduce collector appeal. Harsh chemicals, abrasive materials, and polishing can leave scratches and unnatural surfaces that cannot easily be reversed. Instead, Handle the coin carefully by its edges and store it in a proper archival quality holder. Keep it away from moisture, chemicals, extreme temperatures, and unnecessary handling. If you believe you have found a valuable error, preserve the coin exactly as you found it and document it with clear photographs. Another important issue is counterfeiting. When a coin is claimed to be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, counterfeiters have a reason to reproduce it. A genuine-looking coin should therefore be evaluated through multiple characteristics, including weight, dimensions, metal behavior, design details, edge characteristics, and surface quality. When the potential value is high enough, professional authentication can protect you from making an expensive mistake. There is also a fascinating collecting opportunity here. You do not have to search only for $1 million mistake. You can collect the Egyptian £1 series by date, design, condition, or historical theme. The 2008 issue can become part of a broader Egyptian collection that includes other denominations and commemorative pieces. Collectors can compare how Egyptian coin designs changed over time and how ancient cultural symbols continued to appear on modern currency. That is one of the great things about world coin collecting. A coin does not need to be ancient to be historically interesting. The 2008 Egyptian £1 coin tells us about modern Egyptian currency while simultaneously carrying the image of an ancient pharaoh. It combines modern manufacturing technology with imagery that reaches back thousands of years. And that brings us back to the $1,000 question. If you own an ordinary 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, you should not assume it is worth $1,000. The standard issue is generally much more modest in value. Extraordinary prices, when they occur, usually belong to extraordinary coins, authenticated major errors, exceptionally rare varieties, unusual production pieces, top condition examples with proven scarcity, or coins with exceptional documented provenance. The difference between an ordinary coin and an exceptional coin can sometimes be incredibly small visually, which is why careful examination matters. But remember that the burden of proof is important. A high price requires evidence. One of the best habits you can develop as a collector is to stop asking only, "How much is this coin worth?" and start asking, "What evidence proves what this coin is?" That single change in thinking can make you a much better collector. Look at the coin's specifications, study its history, learn the design, understand the minting process, compare known examples, research actual auction results, learn the difference between a mint error and post-mint damage, protect the coin's original surfaces. And never let an exciting internet claim replace careful numismatic research, because ultimately, the greatest value of this 2008 Egyptian £1 coin may not be its price tag, it may be the story. A small piece of modern currency carries the image of Tutankhamun, a young pharaoh who lived thousands of years ago. It carries Arabic writing and a date connected to the Islamic calendar. It was produced using modern bimetallic technology and circulated as everyday money. And today, it has become an object of interest for collectors around the world. That is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. A coin can pass through thousands of hands without anyone stopping to wonder where it came from. But when a collector finally picks it up and looks closely, the entire story can begin to unfold. So if you have a 2008 Egypt £1 coin, take another look. Check the date, study the design, examine the edge, check the weight, look for genuine mint-made abnormalities. And most importantly, do not assume that a dramatic price claim is true without evidence. Maybe your coin is completely ordinary, and that is perfectly fine. Or maybe you have discovered something unusual that deserves a much closer examination. Either way, you have something worth learning about. If you enjoyed this investigation into the 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Coin Collection 1, and share it with another coin collector. And tell us in the comments, do you have a 2008 Egyptian £1 coin, and what condition is it in? Have you noticed any unusual markings, errors, or differences? Keep checking your coins, keep learning their stories, and never underestimate what you might discover in a collection that has been sitting untouched for years. This is Coin Collection 1, where every coin has a story, every detail can matter, and sometimes the smallest piece of metal can open the door to thousands of years of history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next coin investigation.